Shalom Yashallah, want to start by giving all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, double honors to Apostle GMS, and honor to you brothers that are doing the work in truth while sincerity. I know Edomite bitch at work was basically talking about how, it was research done which basically showed that, more or less everyone, is racist, man. And that's what the word means. The word, let's bring that up first. The word race says people of common descent, a word from the 16th century from Middle French race, early razar, race, breed, lineage, family. So to be racist means you're for, you're for your people, man. And ain't nothing wrong with that. And this is what this word here, ethnic nepotism, basically attempts to describe. It says in sociology, the term ethnic nepotism describes a human tendency for in-group bias or in-group favoritism applied by nepotism for people with the same ethnicity within a multi-ethnic society. And you see that all the time, man. Go for a job interview, boss is an Edomite, it's you, a Jake, against an Edomite. It's more than likely that the Edomite's going to go for the other Edomite. And that's what this word nepotism basically breaks down if we look it up. It says the practice among those with power or influence favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. So that's one of the definitions of the word for nepotism, man. But people do that all the time. And as we just read, from what the word race means, everyone's racist. And do you know what? There ain't nothing wrong with being racist, man. But I'll just throw this out there for edification's sake. Just because another person blacks doesn't mean they're the same race as you. Just because another person is white doesn't mean they're of the same race as you, which is why I said, if it's you, Jake, against an Edomite, because ultimately, just because you're black doesn't make you so-called Israelite. Not so-called, just because you're so-called black doesn't make you an Israelite, and just because you're so-called white doesn't make you an Edomite. Case in point being some of the Irish who are really Jake. Right? And another term I came across, somewhat related, is endogamy. It says endogamy is the practice of marrying within a specific ethnic group, class, or social group, rejecting others on such a basis as being unsuitable for marriage or for other close personal relations. Now, when you read the scriptures, man, it says don't give your wives to these heathens, man. So don't give your daughters to marriage to these heathens, man. Don't be marrying, for the men, don't be marrying these heathens. So all throughout the Bible, all you have is racism, and I've got a few examples here at the end. It says endogamy is common in many cultures and ethnic groups. Several ethnic religious groups are traditionally more endogamous, although sometimes with the added dimension of requiring marital religious conversion. This permits an exogamous marriage as the convert, by accepting that the partner's religion, becomes accepted within the endogamous rules. Certain groups, such as Orthodox Jews, have practiced endogamy as an inherited part of their religious belief, yada 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 yada. It says in adherence, proponents claim that endogamy encourages group affiliation and bonding. It is a common practice among displanted cultures, i.e., cultures, people that have migrated into another place, attempting to make roots in new countries while still resisting complete integration. It encourages group solidarity and ensures greater control over group resources. So it's basically, that's as a nation, man. During the travels, during the it escapes me, but say during the travels that the early Israelites, it's like I'm just trying to remember who it was. But basically, during the early travels, in this, when you read in the scriptures, man, people basically take their household and then move around, but they'll be in the land with the other people, but they won't be down with the other people, man. All throughout our early history, we was doing that. And that's basically the same thing here. We're basically moving around, and we won't, meanwhile, why are we mixing with them? Israel did it, as in Jacob, he did it. We was always doing that shit, man. No, and this is from, what was this? It says we are all bystanders from this website here. It says this is one of the paragraphs some way down. It says lateness, the presence of other people. These are some of the factors that can turn us all into bystanders in an emergency. Yet another important factor is the characteristics of the victim. Research has shown that people are more likely to help those they perceive to be similar to them, including others from their own racial or ethnic groups. Which is what same thing I was just saying. Then it also goes on to say, in general, women tend to receive more help. More attractive and femininely dressed women tend to receive more help. Because ultimately, a whole load of, Captain Save-A-Ho niggas out there, man. But that's the point I wanted to bring out. Including others from their own racial or ethnic groups. Because ultimately, everyone is inherently racist. And it's basically bringing out Psalms 55:21 says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Because you might be thinking, nah, no, everyone's racist, man. We've got over that. The white man will tell you that kind of shit, man. He'll tell you how he loves you, tell you, oh yeah, that's an older past, man. If I was back there, I would have stopped slavery and all that good stuff. But really and truly, man, when the time comes, man, this is Esau's ploy, man. You see him doing that right now in the world. Oh, peace, peace, peace. But really and truly, he's coming, to bomb innocent people, and take the natural resources from the land. It says Isaiah 13:14, it says, and it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. Then they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one to his own land. And that's gonna happen, man. Because this David Cameron has never been more correct. He said multiculturalism has failed, man. That's because it ain't supposed to work in the first place. We're all supposed to be separate, man. And it says, yeah, they shall turn every man to his own people, and that's going to start happening soon. Because everyone's going to remember, that the only people that have your back are the people from your own nation, man. Man, who's had Israel's back? No one's had Israel's back, man. All the nations colluded to basically put Israel into slavery, man. If you read that in Psalms, the 83rd chapter. This is Sirach 12:8. It says, a friend cannot be known in prosperity, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. So, for all you lot, that, think that the so-called white man, the Edomites are your friends, you're going to find out when those martial law troops are on the streets, man. Because right now, we're in a time of so-called prosperity, despite the fact no one actually has any money, but things are still right now, man. But when shit hits the fan, you're going to find out. It says, and an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. Means all that, all that faking, they ain't gonna be able to do that shit, man. They're gonna show you their true colors, man. This is verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And you're gonna find that out the hard way, like I said, man. But now for a little bit of more racism in the scriptures, says Isaiah 40:15, says, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, meaning that you heathens, man, you're nothing. You're nothing in comparison to Israel, man. Deuteronomy 7:6, it says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are on the face of the earth. So yeah, the Most High is racist. The Most High is racist. Then they hell of, there definitely ain't no problem with being fucking racist, man. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.